No, hello, and welcome back to another scene for the Red Branch Knights, where on the Sept of the Red Branch, we'll be bringing the camera swooping in on Maeve as she's headed probably over to the McTide Castle. She owes somebody a reply, and she's respectful enough to go and offer it in person. So rather than go around to the library, she'll actually respectfully approach the front.
I mean, you find Rory sitting out there reading. It's a sunny day,
That's good.
enjoying himself.
Oh, how fortuitous. In which case, she'll, be heading that way, and seeing Rory will divert in his direction. Kind of when he does glance up from the book to because movement. Well, offer the nod because she is coming that way.
You just close the book over.
When she's in range, it's just G'day Raya.
Hello, Maeve.
Wow, sorry, I blinked super hard. So, hands just kind of held in front of her. Polite. I owe you a reply, and I thought it best to come present it myself.
Just gives a nod. Very well.
And actually, is it like a bench?
Yes.
All right, so may I sit with you?
Gives a stretch. Staring at you. You may.
Yeah, there's the fleeting smile of like, oh, good. For a second, she thought he might not. So yeah, she will instead of standing more formally and presenting, she'll sit alongside. So it's more of a polite conversation as opposed to like formal address. I have thought, like I promised, on your offers in exchange for what you've done. And truth be told, I'm very flattered that you've offered me a chance of courtship with your son. But truth be told, I feel almost as though it's more appropriate and more respectful to use a family. There are other ways that I can offer my services to your family and bond with you besides pursuing your son. And I wouldn't want to do that out of anything but real interest, out of respect for him.
He just nods again. Very well. That is your decision.
It is.
Just nods. Again, Rory's not the type of guy to get salty. He's just like, I gave you the choice. That's your choice. Very just matter of fact about him. Then remember the debt you owe.
Oh, very dutifully, right?
Just nod.
If there's ever a time I can offer anything in return, all you have to do is ask. If I find a time where there is an opportunity to do something for your family in return, I'll do it without thinking.
The debt will be cold when it is cold.
It's just nuts.
There is no point in adding further punctuations to it when it is a simple thing.
Thank you.
There is nothing to thank. Just very matter. You're not being harsh. It's just he doesn't. It's very simple. He almost. It's just like why would he think you get thanked over just doing his shit? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
That's the beauty of it. Roy's so fucking straightforward. You know what I mean?
it really is. It's one of those things where like, oh, thanks for not letting me stick my foot in my mouth. That's appreciated. But she just nods understanding, like, oh, okay, all right.
Just remember the dead that you owe and the weight it carries and the rank of your name. You're a foster now, not the child.
Oh well.
Nod.
Well, in that case, thank you for your time, Raya.
Not at all.
God damn it, Rory. He's very straightforward, but he's also very stiff at times. But she just, so respectfully, and she really does like being in his company. The smiles are not fake.
Thankfully, I will not have to inform my son of the news which would stagger him. He gives a smirk as he's opening the book.
Like,
He had not told Oshin, you know? Why would he? Why would he get his hopes up?
oh, buddy.
Besides, I think if you had agreed, I would have left that to you.
I do not doubt for a second that he will be less than lacking in other opportunities.
Just gives a very easygoing shrug. As long as he chooses someone he believes is for him.
That little nod, like, oh, Rory. Exactly.
Yeah, he's just again. Rory's not that. I mean, you've heard the stories about Rory and Sonia, but it seems so odd. He's just very like, and then proceeds to start reading.
Just no, because it's Uncle Rory. He is the best, and that's exactly the kind of sentiment that makes her feel all the more right for making the decision. And so as he goes back to reading, she'll just be like, "Oh, I'll just pick myself up.
Just get out of here.
Just get out of your way, and not be a weirdo and stare at you while you're reading. I'm just gonna go."
So, Maeve, you eventually, James has said, get your gear ready. We're going on a trip. You will be met up with these three, who, well, they will inform you that they were invited. Well, the sisters were, and basically Eve has to come with them because, well, bodyguard. Do you know what I mean?
Bodyguard. Yep. It's one of those things where he's like, "Yeah, you'll meet up here. There'll, we'll get you a ride out there." And so she goes to meet up, and it's just like, "Oh."
Yeah, Una gives the big wave.
Bless her.
Like, hi. Do you know what I mean?
That is delightful.
Hello. You know what I mean?
She does the big wave back. Surprised, but not unpleasantly so.
Oh, yeah, no, Fadula's like, we heard from James that you were going out to a lake of, Irish legends and stuff. And well, he invited us along, and we cleared it with our father. So long as gestures at Eve, Eve just gives the little short wave, like hi.
I'm just here.
Yeah, pretty much. Don't mind me. Do you know what I mean? I'm in a room. I love my job.
I love my job, especially could be doing cool stuff.
Everyone else is going hunt down spirals. I'm going babysitting. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's a little way for you. Like, oh, hey, don't be mad at me. Okay.
She just gives the most like, hey, oh dear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but she'll do the little oh hey to Eve and stick whatever little day bag in the boot.
Yeah, I mean James is there with it's basically a van,
Oh, he is already there. on Sept to pick them up. Oh,
Oh,
James.
just on the outskirts of it, yeah.
Still, he doesn't come to Sept even on the outskirts often, so.
Oh yeah, he
It's
lets you all hop in and lets Maeve sit in the front seat.
no.
There's a couple of chatter. You're driving for a while, and he'll look over as you're driving along. I hope you don't mind. I brought some guests. They quite insistent.
No, not at all.
Wonderful. Gives a smile, that dashing smile.
They're very good company.
Well, I'm glad you think so. Besides,
Like, oh, was that shade?
I thought they would be good for you rather to have some company as well.
Very thoughtful.
Oh, I'm nothing if not thoughtful.
Just you.
But eventually, you're driving for a hot minute, and this is what you like. Eventually, it's about an hour away.
It's one of those things where every time they pass even remotely past the lake, there's like the glance over, like, oh, not that one.
Yeah, and this is what you pass up by one of the old stone fields, and this is pretty much what you see. It's kind of exactly how it says in the tin. It's a lake.
It's got to be funny because in her experience, lakes are like lake is a term for bodies of water that range dramatically in size, and to her, this practically looks like a bay. Like it, she realizes it doesn't connect to the ocean like that, but it's still enormous.
Yes.
So yeah, she oogles appreciatively and appropriately because wow, now that is a lake. Wow. How are you supposed to find the right spot when it lake's that big?
What spot are you looking for in particular?
I just I don't know what I expect to see or find. I just thought maybe going there would help inspire more of the story. You know? It's part of
It
the
just kind of gives you kind of an eyebrow raise.
I it's silly, but I imagined it so much smaller and I thought being there would inspire something, you know? Could imagine what
Only
happened.
one way to find out.
Yeah. Kind of the sheepish smile of like I sound like a crazy person, but I did. I kind of hoped in my weird little fantasy fangirl dreams.
Only one way to find out. It's just he's opened the car. The girls are already going out and wandering along. Like Una especially is like looking at all the local fauna.
The flora. Fucking
Yeah.
so many plants.
Fanula is just looking around like, oh, this is cool. It's. She's thinking this could be a place to there's like she's looking to see is there like boats that go out and it's that type of shit.
Yeah, she's like looking down the way to see if there's a pier, maybe if there's people who keep boats here. I'm sure she's thinking about going rowing.
Mm-hmm. Neve just leans up against one of the stone walls and just literally you see her just
Oh, I assume she's kind of walking that way with James, though as she passes Eve, just, the glance. Not a fan of the water.
oh yeah, no, water's great. Love it.
Is that as sarcastic as it sounded?
Yes.
Oh, honey. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Just she kind of like throws the guilty look at James, like, oh, she is not a fan. Ugh.
And James just keeps striding, like, well, just well. Do you know what I mean?
Saucy. Yeah, keep on down to the lake edge, probably periodically glancing either way because she may not be on guard duty, but that's still two kinfolk running amok.
Oh, Eva's just walking along, as Una's not wandering near the edge of the lake. She's like, like pointing out, like to be fair to poor Una, she's pointing out the fauna, like the flora to Eve, like, and this is this plant. And Eve's like, oh, really? Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Thrilling.
Flua's just skipping stones along the rock's edge.
And yeah, especially as they come down towards, the banks of the lake. The closer they get, Maeve is just kind of, she glances up to James now and again, but it's glancing down, one edge of the lake, turns, glances down the other, looks even out at the little isles in the middle, and it's just kind of like she's looking for a spot that she just feels like she needs to go to, or something engaging or inspiring, or she doesn't even know what. She's just kind of looking.
Well, Maeve, here's the secret as he leans in. If you're going to find the adventure, you have to go running to find it, don't you?
One usually does. Helps if
Well,
you know what you're looking for.
well, sometimes it helps to actually go and see, can you find it? The greatest adventure is not knowing. You can't have it all the one way, otherwise it's cheating. It's not a true fairy tale if you know exactly what's going to happen.
I suppose not. She just glance back, like, okay, Eve's got that in hand, and yeah, I should be reasonably cautious, but I also just want to go running down the lakeside. She could, yeah, she's fine. And what will you be doing while I'm running?
Watching you.
The sheepish smile. And yeah, she will. You know what? She will pick up just, any old twig or maybe a stone or a shell, whatever she can find, and will flick it in the air to determine whether she goes right or left down the bank.
All right. Which way are you going?
Let's see. We'll say one is left and two is right. Let me get into Ponyland. MD2. Left.
All right, you going left?
Yeah, she will just kind of glance around, pick something up, decide which side means which, and flick it in the air and look down, and based on the response, we'll just turn in a direction.
Okay.
Makes work.
Yeah, you start running along the lake. You can feel the water kind of splashing up.
Oh yeah. Depending what kind of banks do we have here? Are there the kind of rocks that would tear her feet up, or
You wouldn't want to run on for an extended period of time.
okay? Then for
You could run on the little mucky part, but wouldn't go close to the water.
Yeah, then she'll keep her shoes on, keep her sandals on, and start flitting along the lake edge, looking at the water. Kind of paying attention to the beach. She'll probably call back to Eve that she'll be back. Just gonna check something out, just so Eve knows not to hyperventilate that Maeve is running off in a random direction.
Look, you're Theurge at this point. She's just like, she just waves her hands like.
Priorities. Two kinfolk. You go be weird. Especially when she like flicks something to determine which direction to go, just like, oh my god.
Yeah, Eve just throws her hands up in the air like, that's it. That's it.
It's all over.
Done.
And yeah, she flits along. She's not running full tilt. It's more like a skipping pace almost. She kind of flits bit to bit, glances around, looks down at the lake, looks around at the plants, and is just kind of looking for anything that catches her interest, really. Just that's how these work, right? There's points where she will have to choose one or another, or find something interesting that might inspire the next action.
I'll clue you this. Like in the distance, you can see.
Oh.
galloping along.
What, just out loose?
Yep.
Oh. Yep. Gonna keep going. Oh.
Do you chase after the horse?
Does the horse even seem to really react to her presence? Is it
It
fleeing?
does. And it doesn't flee in terror. It just looks at you and then proceeds to start trotting. It's almost curious. It just seems to look at you like, huh, and then seems to trot, almost as if it's. You get the impression it might be. Did that just incline you to follow?
Yeah, she will, fuck it, go with the whim of it. There's a glance around just to see if there's anything else that points in another direction, but unless there is, she'll almost inevitably follow and perhaps try to engage it. She's been learning from Daniel. But she has to catch up to do that.
Mm-hmm. Or you start running and running and running. The horse just seems to be getting just always eternally just so close, but yet just never quite there.
Is it leading her away from the lake, along the lake?
Along the lake.
Okay, yeah, she still has landmarks, so she won't be freaking out about running way, way off. She can always follow the bank back. So yeah, she won't necessarily think too much about it. Again, she'll periodically just kind of glance around to see if anything significant has changed in her surroundings, but she'll keep moving, end up refocusing on the horse and following.
Perception primal urge.
Do, do, do. There's a 10 in there.
I wouldn't say you feel things changing like the world is changing. No. You just feel things are brighter. You can feel the burst of energy, the burst of gnosis, the burst of life just oozing from this place. You just feel that primordial sense of ease.
Unfortunately, Maeve is the kind of person who eats that up. So, yeah, it's a weird sense, but she just kind of figures, oh, this is, it's exactly how I imagined it would be. It's better. It feels great. Essentially I'm so fucking glad I did this. And yeah, continues flitting after the horse and trying with renewed efforts to maybe call it around.
When you start calling to it, like I'm gonna say, this is what you start hearing around you as well. Like just the mute. It's the voice. I want you to understand the voice.
Just the voice, okay.
And it seems to echo exactly like that.
Oh,
Softly.
yeah. She doesn't full stop, but there's a brief slowdown, even though she still even takes walking strides for a moment, just looking around like, oh. But then it rounds a corner and she's like, shit!
When you get around the corner, you just see the empty lake. You're back where you started. You can still see Eve and them wandering off in the distance. But see, you seem further away than them, but yet at the same time, that weird sense of deja vu.
The I know I ran further than this kind of thing.
I am farther, but yet I'm at the same place at the same time. It's like I've moved farther, but I haven't moved at all.
Yeah, she just kind of starts the little look around, like, what just happened?
Well, James is there. Look at that smile.
I mean, the smile's good and kind of prompts a brief one from her, though she does. I mean, she looks around because where'd it go?
Walks up towards her, like lifting up her chin so she can look at him. Lost again.
Yeah, yeah, I lost it.
What did you lose?
There was a horse, big one, like the ones the travelers keep. It was all white.
What color was it?
All white.
Pale white horse, leading you to dance along the stream. Sounds almost like a fairy tale.
Big old smile. Yeah.
And what did you feel with this horse? As he tucks his arm under yours as you're walking along.
Oh yeah, she doesn't think twice about it. Just starts walking with him, arms tucked. Just felt. It seems weird to say it felt right, but it felt like a dream.
How often do you dream?
Oh. I daydream a lot.
No, but how often do you dream? As he turns, so you're facing him, and maybe you suddenly notice that you're not like in the water. You're not like walking on water. No, your feet are in the water. It's like you blink.
Yeah, there's like the dazed blink, but he's turning her face up. She can't really spare a lot of attention to it.
It's like you blinked and like I'm in the water. What the? Oh. But again, it feels like cold, but not like ice cold. It's just that refreshing chill.
Not as often as I used to.
And why is that?
It's gotten scary.
Dreams can be a scary thing, Maeve. But we must never forget, as he runs his finger along your cheek, that they come from beauty as well as terror.
It's a warm smile. It's the kind of thing she wants to hear. Of course, she's going to accept it.
Innocence does often still lurk in the back of our minds as well as our hearts.
It's been too long since I dreamed like that. It was nice.
Maybe you should learn to let yourself dream like that.
I should. It's kind of like that weird, like, yeah, I should. They're my dreams. Why shouldn't I have them?
Exactly. All you have, so in the end, sometimes it's just that dream.
So, did you see it?
See what?
The horse.
I might have, but that's your dream. I can't tell you what you can and can't see.
It's a quirk of the smile. It's the little voice. Is it still a thing in the background?
A soft humming noise, yeah.
Oh, there's the tip of the head, thoughtfully. She, looks at him, looks around. She's standing in the water. I think I'm still dreaming.
Then why stop it?
It's quieter. She keeps a hold of him, but is looking around like there's got to be something else. There's got to be another something.
What exactly are you looking for?
Honestly, she probably like glances around, just kind of, is there something floating? Is there something on the bank? But if that falls through, looking down to see if there's anything at her feet or in the water.
Okay. Well, in terms of things floating, things moving, shifting, you will eventually see where are they now? The trees, some of the bushes. Like for Maeve, you would figure maybe the gauntlet is super fucking thin. They look like spirits. They just look more alive, more filled with such energy in them.
I mean, at this point, she's half convinced that at some point during this, she sat down and passed out and forgot, and maybe she is actually daydreaming. She's not sure. It could be either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's. There's no caution about it. There's just kind of a sense of wonder. She finally spots the first and starts realizing there are more and more of them and just, takes it in again. Very kind of innocent wonder. Who are they?
Oh, they're wisps. They often feed off those who share the most joy in the world, the dreamers. They often wish to hear their songs.
Not a very good singer.
It's not about being able to sing, it's about your mind. Did you hear like echoing? Remember those old songs that your mother used to sing to you when you needed to go to sleep, and you often felt like you were about to, that at the edge of passing out? Yeah, you hear that just echo along, literally echo. The all that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's very surreal. But she seems to be very ready and willing to accept and listen and try to. She tells herself she's trying to understand, but she is so eager to get lost in it.
So what are you doing?
How far is she from the edge of the water?
You're in the water. Remember?
Yeah. How far in the water is she?
Oh, you're like barely in the shallow end. Up to your ankles.
Oh, surely she's in the water for a reason. Is there a place where there's like a bank at the edge of the lake where she wouldn't have to come out of the water to
Yes.
see one of them closer?
Yes.
She starts just kind of, gives James's hand a squeeze, but starts drifting that way.
Mm-hmm.
And among other things, she's interested in looking at the wisp as she gets closer. But especially as she gets closer, she glances down at where the water laps at the bank, see if there's like maybe a little inlet or something. She's convinced that sooner or later she'll find a feather.
You do. Floating in the water. It's white but a red tinge to it.
Yeah, just the most victorious smile as she goes to pluck it out of the water, like, huh.
Mm-hmm. Roll me stamina primal urge.
Oh boy. Stamina primal urge. 5. Not d20. I don't know what my diff is, but there's a 7 and a 9 and a 1.
Do. This is like, I want you to listen to this and imagine it when I'm describing what you see.
All right, let me get it set up. All right, it's starting to run.
So, I want you to imagine a man similar looking to James, but his hair is thicker, more deeper red. It's as if he himself is both lost and consumed, and there is a young woman with red hair, clutching onto a little feather. She morphs out of the swan, gently, softly. The hair is graying at times, in places, but he looks always so pleased to see her. The dance is so carefully romantic, but at the same time, Maeve, you notice that she's old, but still, there seems to be a certain magic to the air about it. It's like always two. It's at the end of it, really, to you, it's just two ghosts dancing along to an ethereal song. As by the end of it, she morphs back into the swan, her feathers now grey, and floats down the stream as he just sits and watches, if only brief, as if he'd been waiting for this for a long time.
All right. Is this just something that kind of drifts in front of her, whatever direction she happens to be facing, or does it play out in a particular spot, on
It
the
just
bank?
it drifts. It drifts. It's like he's walked down the bank, found her, but it repeats, and he just looks older each time. Started off really young, and now well, he's old. Graying hair. She has graying hair.
How close does it look to James?
With the ethereal image, you're not quite sure. It's similar facial structure. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't say it's a dead ringer. Just the way the ethereal shapes look like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she probably, initially the idea was she found the feather and snagged it up and like went to turn around with a smile, like, look, I found something, like very pleased with herself. And then, the images start and, the gaze drifts and she watches. It gets a little more somber with each repetition, probably holding, the shaft of the feather in one hand. And you know how you can gently run your fingers up a feather and it won't damage it?
Mm-hmm.
She's just idly doing that as it's repeating and she's just watching and getting, a little more somber each time.
Do you turn back to James?
Yeah.
Oh, you find he's there, interlocking your hands with his the exact same way the ethereal image does.
Are they already dancing and she just didn't know?
Exactly, yeah. You just find yourself blinking a few times and you realize you're dancing in step, passing through the ethereal image, in and out.
You know what? It's so somber, the progression, that she doesn't question that she's already dancing with them. She just pulls herself in a little more and keeps doing it. It seems to just kind of be happening of its own accord. She's not going to try to break that odd disassociated, just knowing her body's taking an action.
Give me a perception alertness as you're being danced around.
Ooh.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You will see this older man talking to Fanula. Just as you pass out one of the Ethereums, you have no idea where Una or Eve, but you also see behind him, standing there, perfectly poised, with the happiest smile you've ever seen on her face. Like, she looks truly joyful, and she seems to have more of a glow to her, like an unnatural glow. as if she's been, as if she's been like infused with glitter, essentially.
That is incredibly surreal.
But then, by the time you blink and spin, James is in front of you again.
Yeah, she does kind of the couple of blinks, just like, oh,
You're right.
yeah, I'm okay. Just,
You, we should get you out of the water, Maeve. I think you had a bit of a stumble.
just kind of like glances down at herself. Is she like soaked?
Yeah. It's like you're soaked from like up to your like top part of your knees.
Yeah, I'm not.
James is waded in to like get you, and you see you looking around and like meeting the girls are chatting away. Fanula just seems to have a very soft smile on her face. She's looking out at the ocean, at the lake. Sorry, and Una's running around all excited, but James is just looking at you with a smile. You don't see any of what you saw before. It just looks like the picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she. It's one of those things where eventually she looks down at her hands, and because the urge had been there to like tuck it behind her ear, like reaches up and like pats her hair, like just trying to figure out where the feather went.
There's no feather in Una. No feather.
Yeah, seeing that the girls are okay, and she saw something and it was odd, but she can't put a finger on it. Seems like a weird thing to even ask James. Just yeah, she kind of like takes a second, kind of glances down. Her hands are taken. It's not in her hair. She just looks over and gotta go.
You know how feathers are. They do float away so delicately. One minute you have it as he leads you out of the lake. And next minute it's just gone from your hands like it was never there at all.
Guess so. She just glances back at the water, like, oh, she'd been intending to hang on to it. So it's, damn it. I guess so. I must have dropped it when I stumbled.
Don't look so sad.
It felt important.
Perhaps maybe it was not the feather that was so important. Perhaps it was merely you finally relaxing and not being afraid of running away.
Yeah, there's a bit of a nod. She kind of pulls the hair back behind her ear instead, and I can. I'll ask you first. In classic fairy tales, when there are situations like that where every full moon or once a year on a particular day or every 10 years, like what is the usual integer for things like someone being able to slough an animal's skin? Because there are a lot of fairy tales about bears, swans, frogs,
Mm-hmm.
seals.
It depends on the curse, really. Could be every full moon. Could be every once every year or at a particular day. It depends. Depends on the severity.
Yeah. Meanwhile, with like most tales about swan maidens that are actually about swan maidens, it's things like every night at a certain, when the
Mm-hmm.
moon hits this point, they get.
I will give you this. It was when the moon reaches a certain angle, so there's a spot at the lake where it reflected. And that's where she stepped in, out of, and back into.
There's so many things I don't know about this story.
We never know the full story, my darling.
I want to.
Then it would ruin the story.
Would it?
Yes. Sometimes it is better to have your story, not just the everything that you want to hear. Sometimes, Maeve, it's better to discover what the story means for yourself, and how you can, well, repeat it or change it. The Children of Lyra teaches us one thing, and this is the first. Like, I mean, Maeve, are you ready for real romantic behavior?
No.
Runs a hand through your hair, like holds you, Maeve, as if he's never going to see you again. That type of hold. Like his eyes even seem so sad, like so heartbroken. For all that love brightens, casts the darkest shadows once it's torn away, and that the jealous love of many can tear away even the most innocent flower from the deepest garden.
It's funny because she. Oh, Maeve. There's such an intense sympathy after watching that series of dances. She reaches up, to first lightly and then more surely touch his cheek. That's not fair. That's not how it's supposed to end.
No, of course not. But that's where the beauty of what we have and the lesson we learn is that you hold on to it and you change it. You start it again from a new beginning.
Yeah. You should look so sad.
Give me a perception empathy.
Oh, buddy. Okay. Fucking heart is braced. Oh, Jesus. One.
When you say that line about, it's not how it's supposed to end, there's a smile on his face as if it's sad, as if he's heard that line before, said the exact same way.
Oh, if only. Oh, Jesus, that face. Won't let it end like that. It can't. It can't end like that.
I believe you.
Nobody deserves to be as sad as you look now.
I am sad only of the memory of the story. But my heart does warm when seeing you. How could it not? You're who the story is written for. He pecks your hand.
Or she lets him steal her hand. Down from his cheek.
If you want to know the story of the children of Lear, Maeve Macfion, then you must begin to learn to accept, and yet at the same time change.
I can.
No, I need you to prove it to me. Not here. That is not the type of place you prove things to.
Well, she gets that little bit of a thoughtful look because she's been functioning on dream and fairy tale logic for a hot second now.
Prove to me, she lifts up her chin, that you understand the meaning of the story. Show it. You don't need to think of a fairy tale, but show it to me. When you think you're ready, you'll have all the time. But show it to me. Make me believe. And if you can do that, you whisper into her ear, then I'm yours entirely.
Ooh. Get that poor girl the shivers.
Because you have stolen now my heart. Even more so than you already have.
Would I have recognized the man as the one I saw at the party, or was it too distant?
Yes, you would have.
Who was the man I saw?
What man?
There was the one who was dancing. But there was another gray haired man. I only saw him for a second.
I would not worry too much.
I'm not. It's just when you're dreaming, can't any little thing mean something?
Well, maybe if you can show me, then I might tell you. He gives a smile.
Hmm.
But not here. Holds her hand gently. Not here.
Okay. And I mean, even turning to look at the others, who are, everything's just back to normal. But
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't hurry to rejoin them. Just
Do you look in the water reflection?
yeah, she's letting her eyes drift.
So while James has his arms wrapped around you, as you're looking into I imagine you both are looking out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see the exact same pose of the ethereal figures holding on to each other. Both very young and full of life and full of love. Echoing.
She just yeah, seeing it, it's a bit of a shock. She just sits her head down against his chest, really, her cheek to his chest, looking at it.
Now, we better keep up with the rest of them, otherwise I might steal you away forever.
Forever is a very long time.
Not long enough. Not for someone like you. How is May feeling?
In a weird way. I mean, in a positive way, very wanted, certainly. But it's funny because this isn't a dream state. This isn't the odd trance she was in before. But it's almost like she's trying to cling to it. She's in that state where you know you have to wake up, but you're not quite out of it yet. And you don't want to. Because once you wake up, everything normal has to start, and you won't be as warm and comfortable and sedate with whatever good feelings are left as your dream is fading. And on the one hand, yes, there's an incredible sympathy and sadness for this story, this pair of lovers who are just slowly wrenched apart by time. The fact that even over time, they cared enough to stay loyal, and it's especially after seeing it, it doesn't seem that odd to say that forever isn't long enough. In this context, it's just very sweet. So all in all, the feelings are a weird kind of a sympathetic sadness, a lot of longing, but a lot of warmth too, because it's just such a sweet thing to say. It's such a caring thing to say.
Who knows? As he whispers into her ear, I might steal you away later. If you'd let me.
Yeah, there's a faint smile. Still, cheek tucked down against his chest, just resting there, that
Mm-hmm.
very nice, intimate, just rest against the chest. As much as it seems funny to ask permission to steal someone, of course, I'd never tell you no.
He lifts her chin up again so she can look into his eyes. You must always ask for the courtship of a lady.
Just, oof.
Especially if that lady is as delicate, innocent, and yet completely enthralling as you are, Lady Maeve.
You always find the nicest things to say to me.
Of course. I've had practice.
There's finally the quirk of a smile. Of course you have. God damn it.
Now, is he? I mean, maybe you get turned around so your back is against his chest, and he just sits down with you. Let us enjoy the quiet before we have to return to the chaos of everything again, if you don't mind.
She just, you know what? She gives the easy nod, and she will be happy to just kind of nest up in his lap. And I mean, let Una and Fanula and Eve do their thing and just enjoy the calm for a minute. She doesn't get many moments of good, removed from all of it, calm.
So as Maeve retracts out, with James, the camera pans to the Mad King with his new daughter, and he'll just lean over. I could never keep them apart, could I? But yet, there's a part of me that never wished to. Only the part that I lost. maybe one day we'll find again. And that is why this scene will end.